Commands, I am asking a full investigation on my son Michael David Case as he was returned from Meredith, Massachusetts. A few weeks ago, last month, when I went to get my Social Security check into the Post Credit Union, my son had called me and asked for a ride to his mother's to work on his truck. I had owed him money when I get my check. I got a call from Officer Hess to ID my face. My son didn't want to ride with me. I ended up meeting the officer at Main Street Market and was taken hostage in a squad car to the hospital, and he said it was ordered by Mayor Banky and Phil Patassin. So I voluntarily went. They went and got my son and had him take my Jeep. Now when I get up in the hospital, I get Linda Bates's relative and puts a mental hold on me. So I get on the phone, start calling my son, who would not answer my phone for over an hour at Bronson Health. And I call Nicole, his mother, and say, my son is not answering the phone. Get him up here with my Jeep now. I called Calhoun Health Department in for a second opinion. I told him I'm on a will with that lady's cousin out in that hallway talking to Officer Hess of Battle Creek. Now here's how it goes. That Calhoun Health Department released me. When we walked out front of the hospital, that cop was still sitting there. My son comes pulling up 15 minutes later in a Jeep with that cop's daughter, Hess, who was in the county jail on a parole detainer for meth. Now, I was so scared when I left the hospital with my son and her, I had him take me directly to his friends off the street and drop her off. My son leaves me at Jeffrey Andrews on Bradford, gets a ride. I'm sitting there with Jeffrey Andrews' parents, telling them how nervous I am about I was just pretty near kidnapped at the hospital. And then I get a call from Michael, and he's telling me he's at his girlfriend's at Georgetown Apartments and wants me to drive over and come and sit with him and her dad and smoke a joint. I said, Michael, I don't feel like meeting anybody new. I don't want to leave this premises because they just tried to kidnap me tonight, and it's midnight. Yeah, I didn't get out of the hospital. They took me at 3 in the afternoon, and I never got released from Bronson until 10 p.m. And like I said, my son lied to me, and then come to find out, he stayed over there at Georgetown, and then come walking back to Jeffrey Andrews at 5 o'clock in the morning and woke me up in my Jeep out in the driveway. Now, I find out my son is going down to the county jail and visiting Officer Hess's daughter and denying it. And then he's lied to me repeatedly because it just come back to my memory when we were living at 17 Glenwood, Commander, me and my son Michael David Case. Joseph Antez came and got him, and they left. And they came back saying that they had to put an Amber Alert for a missing girl. I said, what's this about? He said, it's a cop's daughter who just stole a whole bag of meth from her dealer. I said, well, let that officer handle his own daughter. That was last winter. Now this summer, the same cop, Officer Hess, and his daughter and my son just tried to set me up and kill me. I'm asking for my son to be arrested for conspiracy with Officer Hess. And like I said, and now he wants me to give him a ride tomorrow when I get my check also. And like I said, my check was going into the credit union that same night. And I owed my son $75, and you know what? He wasn't even asking about the money. And then the next day when I went to pay him, he didn't even know how much money I had owed him. And I gave him $100 for $75. And I'm telling you, there's something major wrong here. And then he's still denying he's seeing Hess's daughter down to that county jail. And like I said, last winter at Glenwood, he said a cop's daughter was missing because she stole a bunch of meth from her dealer. He never said her name, and now he's lying to me and just tried to have me picked up on a mental hold and was with his daughter in my Jeep. And then I get released from the hospital and go to Jeffrey Andrews with him, and he calls me from Georgetown, leaves, tells me he's taking off with his friends. He didn't even tell me he was leaving. and then calls me and says, hey, Dad, come over here to Georgetown. I'm just sitting with my girlfriend and her father watching TV. Yeah, Officer fucking Hess. And then my son is still denying it. Commander, I'm asking for the arrest of Michael David Case and Officer Hess for conspiracy and murder on me and Linda Bates, as it was her relative in Bronson Healthcare that tried to put a mental hold on me, and I am on $1 million will with Linda and Brent Bates. I'm also asking for blood work and DNA testing on my son, Nicole Cantrell, his mother, and my father, Daniel Case. Something is very, very strange here going on. I'm clean. Like I said, the night at the hospital, I was released by Calhoun Health Department, and I gave urine and blood. I have not used any drugs in over 2.5 years. I don't even drink anymore. And then my son is suddenly just lying and lying and lying. And like I said, at Glenwood, the night when he relapsed on dope and I put the missing persons report on him, I picked him up. He had no coat with hood. And where is his gray boots? My son's missing gray boots and his white hoodie, his white winter jacket that he suddenly just had his mother take him to Menards and buy him new boots a couple days ago. Michael, where are your gray brand new boots from last year? That's what I want to know. And where's your coat? Because when I picked you up at that dope house and you said you were going in to pay for your phone, and then you called the police when they robbed your phone, I'm very suspicious about all that. Because you didn't have a coat on or your boots. You were in a frickin' Y t-shirt and tennis shoes. Mid-fucking winter. You did not leave Glenwood like that. You left in your hooded coat and your gray boots. And I ain't seen them since. And then you go get a job at Baker's Trailer Park and call me to ask you to pick you up, that you found a bunch of stuff in a trailer, and you find a left-handed compound bow and telling me the landlord wants to sell us that trailer in Baker's Trailer Park where Tiny's son was killed by Brent Bates 40 years ago? Special Fed, I'm asking full investigation on him.